perhaps this is a case of racism. What are we talking about here? We're talking about Kirk Cousins putting chain after chain after chain after chain on his neck. He tweeted this out. Y'all black football players don't feel a little stupid putting all these chains on white quarterbacks, making a mockery of black culture? Sometimes people overthink it. Sometimes people look to create a buzz. And sometimes Quincy Avery, based off of what I know about his Twitter, just says mindlessly dumb stuff. This qualifies. Now, I can't speak for a black man's perspective, seeing Kirk Cousins have a bunch of chains put on him. But are chains black culture? And that's a serious question. I don't think it is. You know why I feel this way? Because here are some other people I've seen with a chain. My dad. He used to wear a chain for a while. Why? Not because he's Italian. It was because he was engaged to an Italian. Italians love chains too. You know who else loves chains? Pulls it off? Cody Stutes. Probably didn't know that about Cody. Cody actually pulls off a chain. That is not sarcastic at all. That is meant as a compliment. He actually pulls it off. It works with him. I don't see how this is bad. It's a bunch of people that think it's hilarious that Kirk Cousins, who is legitimately the whitest person in the National Football League, has a bunch of chains on after playing well. It's funny as hell. That's it. You don't have to overthink it. This is a mockery of black culture? I don't get it. Am I missing something? I wouldn't know these things, okay? I am a pretty damn sheltered person who grew up in Massachusetts. I've told you guys this before. The town I grew up in, Hanover, was a town that had probably more Dunkin' Donuts than minority families. I'm not even kidding. There were like 6 Dunkin' Donuts in that town. There were 13,000 people living there. It was ridiculous. I don't know why we had so many Dunkin' Donuts. I always thought it was way over the top.
So there's not a line.
That's fair.
At any of the Dunkin' Donuts.
There's 13,000 people in that town, though, Sean.
Everyone in the town could go to Dunkin' Donuts at the same time. And if they went to the right ones, no one would have to wait.
Fair enough. Okay. The middle school I went to was called Thayer Academy and looked like Hogwarts. The high school I went to, Shorecrest Preparatory School, had more Jewish players on the football team, and we're talking like 6 to 7, than black players on the football team, which over my entire 4 years there was 1. And he was a senior my freshman year. That's how sheltered I've been my whole life. I'm just trying to lay it out there, okay? Like, it really wasn't until I came to Houston and started to branch out that I met new people, and I feel like I've grown a lot as a person having lived in this city because there are so many different things here. That's not meant as a pandering thing. Like, I really do think that I have become a lot better, more open of a person since living here. Am I missing something? Like, am I wrong? Am I assuming a black man's perspective on this? So if you can answer this to me, 713-780-3776, I just think Quincy Avery's an idiot. Like, I think Quincy Avery loves to step in it with dumb stuff online. And some people like to overthink things and bring race into a conversation where it doesn't need to be brought into. There are probably some other things that Quincy Avery could find online that are white appropriation of black culture. Honestly, I mean, how about go to HBO Max and say that about the Elvis movie? Because isn't that what Elvis did? The answer is yes, based off of my knowledge of Elvis. I haven't watched the movie yet.
I don't think the movie's that factual.
It's not that factual.
I don't think you're going to learn the truth about Elvis in the Elvis movie.
Our friend Kareem, Mr. Kareem Majins, he says, Viking warriors usually wore long braids or dreadlocks to make themselves more intimidating to their enemies in battle. So braids are a white thing. I don't want to turn this into a, hey, look what they're doing, okay? That's not what this is about. My question is a bunch of chains on Kirk Cousins making a mockery of black culture? I don't feel that way.
If anything, and again, I'm not doing the, well, actually, it's reverse racism thing. I'm just saying the joke that the Vikings are doing is at the expense of Kirk Cousins. That it is funny because it is Kirk Cousins wearing it. You're making fun of the intense whiteness that emanates off of Kirk Cousins.
And
no one does this. Like, is there a Lamar Jackson after a win putting on a whole bunch of chains and being like, look how funny this is? No, it's funny because it's Kirk Cousins.
And Kirk Cousins has clearly a level of self-awareness to him, which makes him more likable, even though he's frustrating as a quarterback. What would be the equivalent? Like, what could Lamar Jackson do to, like, as far as like chain stacking? Like, what's the
what's
could
the
say
white
this.
thing he can do?
What's the white thing that he can do so that everyone can be happy? Hell, Deshaun Watson, when he comes back, can do this. Okay, it'll distract people from talking about the
it could be
thing.
a PR win.
Yeah, PR win for Deshaun Watson. What can he do that's the equivalent of Kirk Cousins putting a bunch of chains on? What's the equivalent? Because we got to think about something that can be stackable. I mean,
maybe wear like one of those like really bent camo trucker hats that you get at gas stations.
I don't know though.
I wear a bunch of those.
See, here's the unfortunate part, and this is my perspective. Okay,
is this going to be racist?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
I think very often, even with some of the ridiculous style that we see in the NBA, I feel like a lot of athletes can pull these looks off and you're like not going to question them. Because either they're handsome people or they're guys who are in good shape and you're kind of like, yeah, I feel like that's a look. Now, I think some of the NBA guys go too far. I would specifically point to Russell Westbrook, who once wore a shirt that like essentially gave cleavage in the middle of said shirt.
I think it's midriff. Or was it under?
No, it was literally like a circle in between his boobs. It was bizarre. I don't. James Harden has worn trash bags. Okay, like there's a limit, but I don't know. I feel like for a white guy, when a white guy does that, like see, you've seen Cam Newton wearing like a safari outfit, looking like Brian Fellows from Saturday Night Live. And then you've seen Carson Wentz doing his own thing. Like, Wentz looks like a giant dork. Cam Newton pulls it off, even though it looks ridiculous. Cam Newton looks like he's about to sign the Declaration of Independence. Carson Wentz could do the same thing, and you'd be like, nerd, what are you doing? Like, I think it's different. So I don't think it's as simple as a trucker hat.
Okay. I think I have it. Wearing a, like, Columbia or Magellan fishing shirt, and then, like, very pressed khakis.
And they're like the Steve Kornacki ones.
Yes, like some real khakis.
Okay. New Balance shoes? Is that too far?
Steve Kornacki?
Steve
New
Kornacki's
Balance?
the guy from like that does the election night countdowns. He always wears like his pants bother me on television. I'm like, you look like ass, dude. You suck. Like you're and everyone's like, oh, but that's part of his thing, and he rolls up his sleeves. It's like, no, he looks like crap.
Also, I don't know what he does. Like, you don't really need a nerd on TV to do that. You know, all he's saying is like, look at these percentages. This person's winning, but we don't have enough votes yet because they need to count all of these votes.
Yeah.
That's normally votes the other way.
He's that guy. The entire purpose of that person too. Like, oh, he's so cute. Like, no, stop.
Oh yeah, no, because they brought him out for the for the NFL playoffs.
That's why I didn't like him.
That's the stupidest thing in the world because it's literally just a page full of percentages and him going, well, if they win this one, now they have a higher chance of making the playoffs. I'm like, cool, dude.
Yeah, I saw that. I was like, you look like a clown, dude. You look like I used to before I got fashion conscious. Okay? So, but anyway, we're trying to end racism here, okay?
Well, first of all, NFL already beat us to it by painting it in the back of the end zone.
But we're trying to run up the score on racism. Okay, Sean? Like we're Bill Belichick going up against the New York Jets.
We're trying to get style points on racism.
Exactly. So if Kirk Cousins, per Quincy Avery, is mocking black culture, I feel like one of the best black players has to do it back. What do they do? Okay? Because this is how we end racism. Our show. The only one willing to do this. I got an idea. Okay. Puka shell necklaces. Give Lamar Jackson or another player like 73 puka shell necklaces. Maybe a couple of shark tooth necklaces. It's a little bit dated. Okay, it would be like 2002, 2003. And after a game where Lamar Jackson like only drops back to pass, like as homage to Kirk Cousins. Like he's not allowed to run this whole game. Okay? He puts on all of these puka shells. I think Quincy Avery will be happy.
Okay,
or Deshaun Watson, my bad. Because we forgot. We're going to do it with Deshaun Watson because we want to help him get good press.
I have two things. One, a question, and then two, another clothing suggestion.
Okay.
One question.
We're getting some on the text line, by the way.
How many puka shell necklaces / shark tooth necklaces have you owned or did you own?
I had a beads necklace. And much like, apparently this is per Quincy Avery, it's a black culture thing. But much like Michael Crabtree wore a chain in a game, I would wear the bead necklace when I was playing high school football for the Shorecrest Preparatory School Chargers.
That is the white version of wearing chains during the
It
game.
is. I was like a surfer dude living in Florida. Come on.
So
We got some great text coming
my
in, by the way.
suggestion for and this is more feet wear, if he was wearing those Birkenstock sandals.
Don't hate on Birkenstocks.
I'm just saying I feel like they're exclusively white.
Why? They don't have to be exclusively
I've
white.
literally only seen white people wear them.
But they're like comfy and they have arch support.
I feel like you're getting defensive on
I am getting defensive
well,
on this.
Someone
once called me out on this. No, one of my white friends called me. I was like, "What are those?"
I'm Paul. I have white friends.
How do we end racism, guys? 713-780-3776. Open forum.